If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out.
Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. Today is November the 19th, 2021, and the topic is, who is Jesus to you? And that's capital Y-O-U, friends. Well, but first I started to tell y'all I'm a little bit tired, but hey, I'm here, you know what I'm saying, I pushed through and everything like that, and I'm here to give you guys the juice. I guess I won't be long your time per se, because perhaps as soon as I get done with this, then as soon as I can go back to sleep. But anywho, y'all, not too much happened yesterday, y'all. Just I tried to catch up on rest, because I knew I had to teach a class later on that evening, and so I did that, and everything went well. So yeah, that was pretty much what my day looked like yesterday. But then I stayed up with hubby and whatnot after I taught my class, and so then I ended up going to sleep a lot later. Had to been sometime after midnight, maybe around 1 or something, and so y'all know I get up at 4, so that's why I'm feeling at least a little bit tired. But hey, I'm right out of bushy tail right now, and I'm here to give the juice. All right, so I shared that with you all because, well, the topic today is kind of, well, let's just say I'm gonna dedicate it to my husband on today. I dedicate it to my husband. So we were talking last night or whatever, and it's like whenever we talk about the Bible and whatnot, I feel like we come to this same like crossroads every time where he's questioning like, I guess, people with other belief systems. And I mean, I guess perhaps this idea that it's not fair, that I guess obviously what the Bible says, right? And I guess I could see that, you know, he has all these questions of like, well, what if people, you know, were raised a certain way and all these different things. And again, I'd say to y'all, like I say to him, and like I've said here on the juice numerous times, that, you know, at the end of the day, you know, well, Lord, what you want me to say? What you want me to say, Lord? Okay, so yeah, he's really struggling with this idea, and I guess the issue is, I guess what I always come to the conclusion of is like, okay, either we're going to believe that what the Bible says is true or not. It's either truth or not. It's either one of the two. And I get it. I know that it's controversial to believe that the Bible is true, because at the end of the day, if the Bible is true, then that means that everything else is false. So that's controversial, and I get it. And I told him, you know, sharing with him too, like, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like I just kind of got the revelation of like what that truly meant, you know, throughout this process of the juice, you know. So that would mean over the past year is when I finally got this revelation of, oh, that's literally what it means. Like when Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, that means that any other idea is not the truth or the way or life. So either that's true, either that statement is true or not. So all of this hangs on Jesus at the end of the day. And so yeah, who is Jesus to you? Who is Jesus to you? Because, this whole idea of, you know, well, all these religions, they have the same principles and blah, blah, blah. Okay, they might say some similar things, right? And some things that other religions and doctrines and whatnot, they might sound good. But at the end of the day, what does that doctrine say about Jesus? Because if they're the same, then they would say the same thing in regards to Jesus. And we already know that they don't. I talked about this last year. But for those that are listening to the sound of my voice this year, if you don't want to go back and look at that Juice episode, it had to been like in the beginning, like season 1, because I went through this whole thing of like, I guess like the Bible 101 and like breaking down all the basics of the Bible and all these conversations. So, yeah, you have to scroll all the way to get back to it. Depending on where you're looking at me or hearing me from. But by all means, you can do that because it's already, been recorded. It's out there. If you want to listen to, I guess, my particular point of view of that stuff. But you guys can all research this for yourself. And I think that's the point. We're all supposed to be researching this for ourselves. Like, I know, again, his questions were, well, if someone was raised a certain way and all this, I guess basically he's asking me, like, do I feel like that's going to have an effect on what they believe in? And I say, okay, yeah, they do. Granted, it does have an effect on what people believe, the way you're raised. But at the end of the day, what you decide to do with information that you're given, you still make that choice at the end of the day. Like, regardless of the way I was raised, I still had to build my own relationship with God for myself. I believe I shared this the other day. I couldn't just, go by my mom's prayers. I couldn't just go by, the things that I was taught over the years. I had to build this relationship with God for myself. I had to study the Bible for myself. And, and I get that maybe he's coming from the perspective of, well, people might not want to do that. But then whose fault is that if you don't want to do that? I mean, now granted, there was some point, I want to say, about while I was growing up in my youth, I imagined myself to be, looking to other religions and just see, like what was going on with, why are there so many different religions and all those different things. Now, do I necessarily feel the need to do that now? Not necessarily. I have done some research, right? But I can't sit here and say, okay, yes, I've read everybody's doctrine and I've X, Y, and Z. Some people might have to do that, like we talked about Doubting Thomas. Like, I mean, some people might need to go that deep and do all that. And that's okay. It's okay to do that. I feel like if you need to do that, by all means do it. And, use your discernment, draw your own conclusions, and see, what happens for you. I believe, according to the Bible, and actually the verse is Romans 1:20. You guys can read the entire thing for yourself. But basically, it does say that, the truth is all around us. I'm paraphrasing that, but it's saying that the truth is all around us at the end of the day, that there is a God. Everything is proof that there's a God. So, if we can acknowledge that there's a God, now we got to acknowledge, okay, the true God. Because at the end of the day, again, if all these religions were saying the same thing, then okay. You know what I mean? Then maybe there could be some argument there. But they're not. Even if they do say some good stuff, they're not saying all the same thing. And Jesus, by himself, debunks that idea. I mean, there's more. You can go deeper about it and see that, okay, yeah, they're saying different things, X, Y, and Z. But like I said, I mean, Jesus alone. But maybe people aren't familiar with that or whatever. And again, you can go deeper. I suggest that people go to carm.org and look up world religions and use that as a starting point. If you know deep within, okay, I'm not somebody that's going to actually go and read the Quran or read all these different Bibles or all these different doctrines, all these different, if you somebody that need to do that and got to do that and got the time and want to do that, by all means, I believe you should, right? On the flip side, if you're somebody that you know that you're not going to do all that, but you want to see or get an idea, then I would say, look into places where they've done it. I would say don't just go to sources that are based on opinion. Go to sources that are based on facts. And I find calm.org to be credible in regards to just presenting facts and presenting what each doctrine may say. And at the end of the day, you use your discernment at the end of the day. It's your choice. What or who is Jesus to you? That's what's going to matter at the end of the day. Not what your family did, not what anybody else told you, not any of that. You have to make that decision for yourself. And so, yeah, I mean, just like with anything, I mean, I tried to give as many examples as I could or whatever while we discussed it last night, because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, again, there are things that, maybe I was taught, or there's different things in life that I experienced, but I had to make my own decisions at the end of the day. And so it's just very interesting, y'all. It's just very interesting how we live in free will, we operate in free will, we do the things, we make the choices, but then at the end of the day, we don't want to take the responsibility for the choices. We don't want to believe that, oh, well, everybody has a choice, regardless of how you were raised. When you receive the information about Christ, because everybody's going to, according to the Bible, and you got to decide what you're going to do with that information. Now, again, it goes down to your heart, right? Is your heart receptive to the information? Then perhaps God can do something with you, right? He can let that seed flourish, and then eventually, that seed will grow and bear some fruit, right? But on the flip side, if you're not even open to receiving the message, you'll hear the message, right? You'll get the seeds and all that stuff, but if you're not even open, then it's not going to go anywhere. And that's what it boils down to. So if you allow the way you were raised or anybody else to influence you, and then you decide to not receive the gospel message, that still is on you. I mean, I don't know no other way to say it, and yeah, I would say it's unfortunate and it don't seem fair to us, right? It don't seem fair to us, but I guess that's the interesting thing about what I was talking about yesterday, the unique wisdom, because from God's perspective, I'm sure it's something totally different going on, At the end of the day, your whole life is grace and mercy. Your whole life is, each new day is a new chance and a new opportunity to receive the gift that God has given us. So, again, if you spend your whole life not receiving the gift, not accepting the gift, and some even go as far as to convince others to not receive and accept the gift, as we talked about yesterday, then again, whose fault is that? Because at the end of the day, again, if we just boil it down to the simplest of terms, at the end of the day, everything can't be true. And everything is not true. Whether we're talking about religion or if we're talking about anything. everything is not truth. There is truth, and then yeah, you can have different perspectives of the truth, but that doesn't change whatever the truth is. So when we talk about this in particular with, this conversation of religion and everything like that, again, just a little bit of research can show us that the ideals or the things that people want to debate about and put out there as fact is not fact. And again, in my humble opinion, now this is just me saying it, but I mean, I think if you research this at all, you'll see it for yourself, that Jesus debunks the whole idea of all religions leading to the same God. Because if that was true, then the Muslim faith would say that Jesus is God. And they don't. And that's just one example. Some of these faiths don't even acknowledge Jesus at all. So, who is Jesus to you? And I guess that'll tell you what, as they say, what side you're on, at least according to the Bible. Either Jesus was this, son of God, like he said, or he was a crazy man that, had a lot of things to say. Maybe some good stuff. But to say that he was the only way and all that, or I guess that those are controversial, perhaps crazy in our mind, in our earthly understanding way, But let me share with you guys some Bible. Colossians 2:8. See that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world, and not according to Christ. This say, see that no one. That means mama, daddy, sister, brother, friend, family, co-workers. No one. So we can't use that as no excuse. The way you was raised, unfortunately, I'm sorry, is not an excuse. At least according to the Bible. I can't use that as an excuse at the end of the day. If I hear the gospel message, which all will hear, right? Because that's what the Bible says. All is going to hear. So, if you hear the gospel message, regardless of any of that stuff, and then I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll still say if, just for those that are struggling. You know what I'm saying? If the Bible is true, then according to it, these are the things that it says here. It says that Jesus is the only way, all this different stuff. So, and it literally says here, see that no one takes you captive by philosophy, empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world, and not according to Christ. So, who is Jesus to you? Romans 10:9, because if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. I mean, at the end of the day, we can't take this lightly. We can't take this It was interesting because I know he was telling me, oh, well, they do have some of the same principles and X, Y, and Z. Maybe the difference is, Jesus. I'm like, well, that's huge. That is huge all by itself. Jesus, yeah. What are we talking about here? You got to confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord. If your doctrine doesn't say Jesus is Lord, which we know there's some that don't, then they're not the same. There's nothing the same about it. Then it says, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead. Now, some believe that Jesus wasn't raised from the dead. Again, huge. So, I mean, hey, y'all can go deeper about this. Plenty of material and content and Bible and everything to, read on your own. I mean, I got some things in the go deeper section. I got some places for you all to start at in regards to looking at different religions and seeing, just the general doctrine, just the overall message, comparing those. And again, I think you'll see at the end of the day, at the least you will see is that they're not all the same. So then at that point you have to decide what you believe to be the truth. And ultimately the question is, who is Jesus to you? And that may be the pulpy juice of today. I'm moving on, y'all. The Bible verse of today is 2 Corinthians 3:17. It says, now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Just a reminder, a new episode of God, Sex, and Love, the talk show, will be going live at 7 p.m. tonight. It is a chat with Miss Mandy Nuttall, the author of the Birthday Suit books. So, hope you guys check that out tonight. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. If you like what you hear, then consider supporting our podcast. Every listener that supports us for $9.99 a month will be entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win a free gift. So become a supporter today.